So thank you for having us here today. So it's the last session, so we'll make it quick and hopefully fun. I don't like using slides and death by presentation and PowerPoint, so it will be very light. I'd like to talk and interact with you. So the personal ecosystem. So I just was chatting with some of you outside, and we came into the discussion of what's causing this change that we are seeing. The 2010, you can say, accelerated change between what we're used to do and consume and interact, and how is it going beyond that right now. And every quarter, I think, we're seeing a very accelerated mode of things changing. Is it the technologies? Is it the Apple of the world that's causing these changes? Is it the telco service provider that's also assisting on that kind of a change? Is it new internet model emerging to the way people interact is making this change? What is it exactly? So I like to sum it up in three main paradigms, which is one, I think, yes, technology have a very strong effect on the way changes are happening. When we say technology, it's cover the devices that we are seeing. So the booming number of devices, the new features and technologies happening in devices is one of the contributions to the very strong change that we're seeing. Technology also such as the availability of broadband. I mean, here we are at the haven of broadband in the UAE. By the way, we are the #1 country globally in terms of the fiber to the home penetration, which allow for a very fast internet from home. And we are one of the leading also mobile broadband penetration. So penetration of broadband contribute to this change. New technologies emerging. So we're used to the old way of communication between voicing, messaging, multimedia of communication, but now there's a whole lot of new channels of communication and a whole lot of technology of conveying information. We've seen the augmented reality. We're seeing a new way of location-based services that allow interaction between brands and consumers. So technology also is a pillar of this change. So this is one. The second one is the business model. Business model, I mean, if you're selling free lemonade down the road, you will have a lot of traffic and interaction. So a business model, whether it's free or innovative, allow for more change to happen in the ecosystem. And the last thing, which is very close to my heart, is the users itself. The user's behavior is being changing. Is it older generation, newer generation? Is it older generation want to be young and interactive with the new generation? All of these combination is affecting. The users in the past, I mean, if you all lived the era of mobile phone from a basic voice and SMS, and then we get a new technology breakthrough called MMS. And then we were told, what is this MMS? And you have to explain it. And service provider like us had to do a little booklet to explain what's MMS, and it still did not make a big breakthrough. So the appetite of the user were not high at the time. I mean, you really have to spend a lot of time explaining to them about such new technology and features. Now, the appetite that it's peak. People are ready to try anything new they lay on their hands on. Yes, simplicity is making a big part of that, but also the appetite on its own. A gentleman was just talking to me about one of their apps, Nabd, right? Yes? So immediately talk about it. While he's talking about it, downloaded the app and start using it. Simplicity makes a difference, but also the appetite is trying something new. So these three paradigms, I think, are the pillars of the changes that we are seeing and we are using. So, of course, the number of devices across all its type is the one that's also making that number. People right now, if I want to drill down on the behavioral and user trends happening right now, I think the gentleman from Future Techs has elaborated on a lot of the trends, and would like to again talk about the user, because that's the center of all the things that's happening. The end user, the consumers are the ones focusing on that one. So right now, this is what's emerging, what we call it the hyper-connected users. Before, they are connected. Now, hyper-connected mean it's connected via multiple devices in multiple locations for multiple things. So this hyper-connected users right now is also not only connected on his own, we've seen that he's more engaged. So such user, when it's becoming more engaged, that means he's engaging with his community, with his peers, with the brands that he communicate with. Such users are expecting more from brands. In the past, I think for brands like our brand and any other big brands, it's easier to gain that trust from the users. It's the communication that they do. It's the exceptions, the term of reference, that they, term and condition that they do. Now people are very much aware and engaged. And trust of the user, it's at its level highest right now. So you ought to get it right from the first time. You have to be completely transparent as a brand with your end users. So such changes in the behavior of the user and the demand of the user is making all of these changes. Also, users right now, because they are open on their information and data, they're concerned about their privacy and security because of the opening of their doors. So they would still share the information openly, but then they have that concern on the user's privacy. So any solution that will involve the user's privacy and information, that has to be in a concern. Also, users, more and more I see, is expecting to get something back from the information that they share. So if I'm sharing information with you as a particular brand or an online provider or a telco, users are expecting to receive something back as a value, for example. So if Etisalat is providing an advertisement-based solution to the end users where it will allow me to opt in, so I am in control, not you in control as a user. I choose what do I want to receive, so I profile, and I will allow you to use my information that you have it about me of location, interaction, and social peers that I have, as long as you protect my data and you provide value back to me. Value back of you only give me advertisement that is concerned to me at the right time and at the right location. So this is a lot of the thing that we think from an end user perspective, they are coming more and more in the control about it. So when we talk about the users and the behaviors and the social media, and I think I missed yesterday and I have the second half of today, but I bet a lot of this was talked about. The level and richness of information that it's available about users. And each one of us in his own silos is trying to monetize some of these trends that is happening. What do we do about this information, about the intelligence that is happening around us? We've seen yesterday the announcement of the UAE government. I see that is the government of the UAE trying to monetize of one of the trends that is happening, which is the huge adaptation of mobile in the UAE and the huge increased number of smartphones in the UAE, and introduce the mobile government or the smart government of the UAE. And what will that do? What is their objective? Of course, they announced their objective of #1, servicing the end users and giving them the best service and satisfying them with the services, and at the same time, reduce cost by the level interaction. That's a monetization of such trends that are happening. And when we look at the media, consumptions, behavior, brands want to be trusted, want to be liked, want to change behavior of users to influence action that is favorite to them, whether it's acquiring a new customer or retaining a new customer or increasing purchase power. Now again, we're going back to the data bit. The more information you have about your end users, the more thing that you can do with it. At Etisalat, when we spoke last year, we are at the start of the era of what was announced. The formation of a new unit within Etisalat that it sits across the 15 operations that we have. Our 5 big operations are in the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Pakistan, and Nigeria. Big operations across big population. Of course, other countries scattered from the east and west, from Benin, Ivory Coast to Afghanistan and Pakistan. We thought of ourselves, we're seeing a lot of trends happening. So you either sit back and just monetize the normal connectivity, SIM card, internet, or you have to step in to the digital era and look at what asset and information that you have, and how can you be a valuable server into the overall ecosystem. How can you add value to this? So you don't just talk to a media agency because if you are Etisalat, you are one of the biggest spender in the advertisement area. No, you're coming in as a partner. You're coming in as an information that will enrich the data that you have, that will enrich the segmentation that you have, that will enrich the profile of the users. And to you, Mr. User, I'm stepping into this ecosystem because I think I can add value to you. I can customize the campaigns, either me directly or through a partner that we will go work with. For you governments, for you brands, we will be able to not only do the advertisement, but we'll also close it with a transaction online. Etisalat is one of the biggest online e-commerce transaction engine service in the UAE. And we're moving from the e-commerce to the mobile commerce. So you'll have the behavioral, the consumption and usage, and you'll be able to close that line with the purchase itself, and then after that with the loyalty and the satisfaction level. So we're stepping into this new era. Commerce for us is very rich. So it is from a QR codes linking to our wallets to an augmented reality that's allow for integrations of advertisement and information, from NFC for near field communication that allow ticketing and other type of services to be done. Our portfolio is rich of different parts. We're not perfect in any of them. We are betting in a lot of these verticals that we're having the focus with. We're coming in not only with the technology piece. We're coming in with the relationship that we have with our user, the knowledge that we have of their own trends, and we're coming with an open hands to interact with the various partner. And sometimes we know what can we work with, but sometimes we know my assets and capabilities and your assets and capabilities, and two minds thinking together will be able to start thinking innovative. Mobile baby is one. I mean, who would think Etisalat can save lives? Maybe by making a phone call to the, ambulance, for example. Maybe you can save life by things like that. But never thought of how could Etisalat save life for a lot of the mothers and kids in Africa. Well, in Tanzania, in Nigeria, by putting our hands, being a technology provider, a service provider, with the agencies that care for the health and for the healthcare providers in the countries, and reviewing the whole ecosystem from what happens when the woman gets pregnant and the midwives that they are taking care of it. What goes wrong in the cycle? What's needed to be constantly updated about the welfare of the child and of the mothers? How do they transport? How do they pay the money? What system needs to sit in the other ends to receive that information? It was simplified by an app, fully connected between the midwife and the clinic at the center, and closing the whole transaction with the mobile commerce. That's by itself saved more than 70% of the life of the pregnant women that they are serviced by the clinic that we are connected with. That's one of the examples that we are doing. A lot of the activity that we're doing right now is also in the education sector. Currently, we're only in the trial phase, and we're making use of technologies, mainly with the augmented reality, to really make the textbook interactive. So we're not in the business of making textbook. Today, because the textbooks are already available, we're working with the government for the long-term plan, how to make it interactive for the long-term plan. But today we're working with specific schools for some of the curriculum that they have by interlinking the physical pictures that they have, the text, the specific pages into an interactive form, whether it's a video, and a question and answer, or a messaging solution. Today, the new generation, they don't learn only by reading. I guess sometimes they get bored if they read it or they don't understand it. So sometimes it's good. Keep the reading, keep the text as it is, but also give them a mixed experience by a video that explains to them how the human cells made of, how the human body made of. And once they see the video, then they go back and read the whole text, and then it makes sense. So such initiative that we're starting with to be engaged with our customer, be it the government agencies, the enterprises, or customer. Similarly with the TV, I mean, today we have more than 300,000 connected TVs in the UAE, and that represents a huge sample for the TV, 300,000 homes connected, so a number of TVs will be a whole lot more. And if you look at the information that we have today of the behavior of the users on the program, it's a lot better than any outside research agency is doing about the users, about the program that they're watching, about how long they watch it, how frequent they watch it, what's the profile of that house, where do they live, number of households that it have. All the information is available. So right now we're engaging by the fixed IPTV that we have, interactivity via multi-screen, and adding additional services also to the home environment. And for the interactivity and behavioral information for the TV, that is a valuable asset to a lot of the agencies in order to tailor-made advertisements. So I like to give an example. I mean, today you're watching American Idol, and at one of the spots that you'll have, you might have an advertisement that is not really tailored for your home. I mean, some program that you might find an advertisement that's probably catering for a Saudi market, not for the UAE market, because people are buying pan-Arab advertisement, and I get a Saudi bank. I mean, simply by the information that we have, that ad can be replaced by a local advertiser. And if your homes, if you are a single man, or if you are a home of a husband and his wife, or a lot of children, then I will send you the Pampers advertisement for you. And for you, I'll probably will give you something else. And that's the thing, not Etisalat doing it on its own. No, we're not. We're not creating a new ecosystem. We're just stepping in, telling the brands, the media resellers and the agencies, and tell them, listen, we have a tool and a capability that we think that we can add value to you to make your sale of that spot at a premium level. And guess what? You will make more money. The brand will get more exposure and will get better ROI. And Etisalat, I will take a small share out of that one. So it is no more about the industry and technologies alone. I think it's a whole ecosystem getting together, thinking together, and innovating together. When the nice lady here in the front doing the interview with me about the MTV asked me, so what are we going to see in digital forum, media forum next year? I mean, with the trends happening quarter on quarter, there will be more doubt than there is confirmation in my head about what we really see next year. So I think it's not about what will happen in the trends. It's about each one of us being a service provider like us, being an agency like you, or a brand, or government, and so on. What will you do to make use of such changes? What collaboration that you are willing to sit down and think and action in order to make use of this, such things? And maybe we can create the agenda for the next year by behaving and changing it rather than just repeating other trend that is happening somewhere else. Thank you very much.